kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubheva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from the srimad-bhagavatam, 10th canto, 8th chapter, chapter 8, entitled Lord Krishna Shows the Universal Form, text number 10. Shri Nanda Vacha Alakshitosmin Rahasi Mamakar Api Govraje Kuru Dvijati Samskaram Svasti Vachana Purvakam. Shri Nanda Vacha Alakshitosmin Rahasi Mamakar Api Govraje Kuru Dvijati Samskaram Svasti Vachana Purvakam. Shri Nanda Vacha Lakshitosmin Rahasi Mamakar Api Govraje Kuru Dvijati Samskaram Svasti Vachana Purvakam. Shri Nanda Vacha Lakshitosmin Rahasi Mamakar Api Govraje Kuru Dvijati Samskaram Asti Vachana Purvakam. Inando Vacha Lakshitosmin Rahasi Mamakar Api Govraje Kuru Dvijati Samskaram Swasti Vachana Purvakam. Shri Nanda Vacha. Nanda Maharaj said to Garga Muni, Alakshita, without Kamsa's knowledge, Asmin, in this cow shed, Rahasi, in a very solitary place, Mamakai, even by my relatives, Api, a still more secluded place, Govraje, in the cow shed, Kuru, just execute, Dvijati Samskaram, the purificatory process of second birth. Samskarat Bhavet Dvija. Swasti Vachana Purvakam. By chanting the Vedic hymns to perform the purificatory process. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nanda Maharaj said, My dear great sage, if you think that your performing this process of purification will make Kamsa suspicious, then secretly chant the Vedic hymns and perform the purifying process of second birth here in the cow shed of my house, without the knowledge of anyone else, even my relatives, for this process or purification is essential. Purport. Nanda Maharaj did not like the idea of avoiding the purificatory process. Despite the many obstacles, he wanted to take advantage of Garga Muni's presence and do what was needed. The purificatory process is essential, especially for Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. Therefore, since Nanda Maharaj presented himself as a Vaishya, this process of purification was essential. Formerly, such institutional activities were compulsory. Chartu Varnam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasha, Bhagavad Gita 4.13. Without these activities of purification, the society would be considered a society of animals. To take advantage of Garga Muni's presence, Nanda Maharaj wanted to perform the Namakarana ceremonies, even secretly, without any gorgeous arrangements. Therefore, the opportunity for purification should be regarded as the essential duty of human society. In Kali Yuga, however, people have forgotten the essence. Manda Sumanda Mateo Amanda Bhagya Hyupadruta. Bhagavatam 1.1.10. In this age, people are all bad and unfortunate, and they do not accept Vedic instructions to make their life successful. Nanda Maharaj, however, did not want to neglect anything. To keep intact a happy society advanced in spiritual knowledge, he took full advantage of Garga Muni's presence to do what was necessary. How degraded society has become within 5,000 years. Manda Sumanda Mateo Manda Bhagya. The human life is obtained after many, many millions of births, and it is intended for purification. Previously, a father was eager to give all kinds of help to elevate his children, but at present, because of being misguided, people are prepared even to kill to avoid the responsibility of raising children. Translation once again. Nanda Maharaj said, "My dear great sage, if you think that you are performing this process of purification will make Kamsa suspicious, then secretly chant the Vedic hymns and perform the purifying process of second birth here in the cowshed of my house. Without the knowledge of anyone else, even my relatives, for this process of purification is essential." Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishta Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. So we can see in this text that Nanda Maharaj was quite determined to follow the purificatory processes which were given to him by Garga Muni. So he was following, Garga Muni was the priest of the Yadu dynasty, and here he was performing the name ceremony of giving the name to Krishna and Balaram. And Garga Muni mentioned to Nanda Maharaj that Kamsa may get to know that he's performing this process, and then he will know where to find Krishna and kill him. But Nanda Maharaj, nevertheless, he insisted to perform this purificatory process because he knew that it is necessary to perform the activities which are laid in the Vedas in order that the person can elevate his consciousness and progress. And there are also many other purificatory processes which we can find. For example, Garbhadana Samskara, and for example, Srila Prabhupada also mentions marriage, like samskara or taking sannyas and so on. So all these activities which are laid in the Vedas are meant, all these purificatory processes are meant to move one closer to Krishna, to purify him more and to move closer to Krishna. And in the previous yugas, in the past, as Srila Prabhupada mentions here in the purport, all these processes all these purificatory processes were taking place because there was a system of the varnashrama, The society was like organized in the 4 orders. So there were the Brahmanas, like Gargamuni, who knew the Vedas and the conclusions of the scriptures, and therefore they knew what should be done and what should not be done. And they led Kshatriyas, they advised the Kshatriyas so that they knew how to lead the society. And the Kshatriyas were taking care of the citizens, they were protecting them, and they also knew the moral principles and what should be done and what should not be done, in order that society will flourish materially and also spiritually, that people can be gradually elevated to Krishna consciousness. And so they were taking also then taking care of the Vaishyas, who were taking care of the land and the cows and the protection of other animals, and also the Shudras, who helped all the other orders. So it was we can see here in the example of Nanda Maharaj how the Brahmanas were very prominent and important in that time, because he wanted to follow Gargamuni's advice, he wanted to follow him in to perform this purificatory process, because he knew this is the right thing to do. And also we can see in the srimad-bhagavatam there is example of King Vena. So he was an atheist king who was ruling the kingdom for some time, but because he rejected all the activities which were laid in the Vedas, like performing sacrifices, giving in charity and so on, the Brahmanas at that time were still so powerful that they they actually killed him, because they saw that he was degrading the whole society by his character. So the Brahmanas were so powerful that they could kill him. And also we can see in the story of Maharaj Parikshit, when he committed a so-called offense towards one Brahmana, his son, the son of this Brahmana, Shringi, he cast a spell on a curse, yes, thank you, a curse on Maharaj Parikshit, that he would die in 7 days. And actually Srila Prabhupada says that because of that event, the whole Brahmana society became degraded. And because they became degraded, gradually all the other orders of the Varnashrama also became degraded. And now we can see this practically in present day society. The society is practically no one knows what is the goal of life, what should be done, what is right to do, what is not right to do, because of this, because the Brahmanas got degraded, and because they were not advising anymore the Kshatriyas, they were not giving out the knowledge what should be done to others. Then the others didn't know what to do, and they just engaged in sense gratification. So this Varnashrama degraded gradually, and in the West we can see that there is like just everyone is following their senses. Everyone is seeking sense gratification and following the orders of their mind and senses, and they think that we also think that we'll be happy that by doing this, that we can be free, that we don't need to follow any authority, that we don't have to have any rules, any regulations, we don't have to do any purificatory process or some austerity, and by this that we'll be happy, that we are independent. But actually we're never independent. We're always following someone, some authority, some rules and regulations, even if you say that we don't, because everyone he's hearing from someone, he has some associates with whom he associates, and this association influences his thinking, his feeling, and his willing, and his desires. So he's influenced by his association, he's influenced by how they behave and so on. So different groups of people accept different leaders. There are many groups in the society. So they have different leaders, and these leaders give them different rules and regulations. How should they behave? What kind of dress code they should have? How should they think, and so on? What is the goal of life? So everyone has this. Everyone has some rules and some goal in life. Even those who so-called even so, some of them that reject, that they say that they don't follow any rules. So, but in our life as a devotees, we try to accept the authority of Krishna and Guru, so that we try to follow Krishna's order, and we try to act as he wants, according to his instructions, according to his desires, because we know that by his instructions we can get elevated and be really happy. Because if we don't follow his orders, if we don't follow the orders of Shastra, Krishna says in the 16th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita that those who don't follow the Shastras, they cannot achieve perfection, they cannot achieve happiness or the supreme destination. Because if you don't follow the Shastras, if you don't follow Krishna, we follow Maya. Srila Prabhupada says there is only two things. Are we under the influence of Mahamaya or Yoga Maya? That's our choice. And if you don't follow the Shastras, as Krishna says, we don't follow lust, anger and greed, which don't bring us to a nice place. So we can see also here in the example of Nanda Maharaj that he was very attached to following Garga Muni, to performing his duty, what was needed for the benefit of Krishna, what was needed to elevate his child and so on. And from his example we can also take an inspiration that although that he knew the danger of performing this purificatory process, that Kamsa would maybe get to know where Krishna is and he would kill him, he knew that it would be good. And we can also see in our own life that sometimes we also face some obstacles in performing our devotional service, in performing spiritual activities, as chanting and reading Srila Prabhupada's books, giving Krishna consciousness to others. It may be hard sometimes, but we should not be attached to the result of our activity. We should do it for the pleasure of Krishna and leave the result to Krishna, because we're not in charge of the result, but we should do our duty. This is our duty, to do our duty for the pleasure of Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada also many times in his classes he was stressing this urgency, that we should not in one sense fool around, but we should really strictly follow the instructions of his instructions, which are ultimately the instructions of Krishna, not just because that we have to be, but we have to be aware that this is for our own benefit. It's for our own good. Because sometimes we have still this misconception, and in today's society there's also that if you have some restrictions, some rules, if we have to do something which is uncomfortable for us, then we should not do it. It's not worth it. But we should always do what is right, even if we don't feel like it, even if we don't want to do it, even if it feels uncomfortable. We should do it anyway. This is, for example, Krishna mentions happiness in the mode of goodness. At first it looks like poison, it's like hard to do it, we don't want to do it, our mind, our senses, they want to do something else. But if we do the right thing, even though if we don't want to do it, at the end we will feel this nectar, we feel this happiness that we did the right thing, that we progressed in some way. And by following our rules and regulations, the instructions of the spiritual master, instructions of Krishna and so on, we gradually get purified and purified. As also Srila Prabhupada mentions here in this purport, that all these purificatory processes are meant to purify the conditioned soul, and also that the main duty of human society is to get this opportunity for purification. So by performing these spiritual activities, we get gradually purified and we raise to the mode of goodness. And when we're situated in the mode of goodness, there is generally, it's much easier to focus the mind on Krishna, and it's much easier, we're not so much influenced by the lower qualities such as lust, greed, and anger, and so on. And it's much more easier and efficient to practice Krishna consciousness. And as we get also purified, we can also, in a more Krishna conscious way, influence also others, to give others Krishna consciousness. And for example, Srila Prabhupada many times mentioned that this ISKCON society is meant for making brahmanas, in a sense that we can gather the Shastric knowledge so that we can know what should be done and how life should be lived, and that we also practically apply this knowledge, the verdict of the Shastras in our life, that we follow it, and also that we educate other people that they also follow it, that they also can get purified, and that they gradually get elevated to Krishna consciousness. So it's very important for us to really, like Nanda Maharaj, stick to these duties laid in the Shastras, to follow them with our example as much as we can, and then also to educate others so that others can also benefit from it. So I would end the class here. Thank you for your attention. Is there any questions maybe or comments? If not, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantara srimad-bhagavatam ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki